The first note cracks. Cassius stands center stage, one hand pressed against his swollen belly, the other clutching the velvet curtain for balance. The orchestra freezes mid-measure. 300 pairs of eyes burn into him from the gilded balconies of the Belmont Opera House. His voice, the one thing that's never failed him, just shattered like cheap glass. Luca da Vinci sits in the front row, legs crossed, a smile playing at the corner of his mouth. The kind of smile that's gotten men killed. His fingers drum against the armrest of his private box seat, the Rolex on his wrist catching the chandelier light with each tap. He doesn't move, doesn't blink, just watches. Again, Luca's voice cuts through the silence. Not a request, a command. Cassius swallows hard. The baby kicks against his ribs, sharp and insistent, as if protesting this whole ridiculous situation. 6 months pregnant and standing on stage because a mafia boss made a bet he never expected to lose. The aria from La Traviata, perfect execution, that was the deal. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The conductor raises his baton again. Cassius inhales, feeling his lungs expand against the corset he'd squeezed into for this performance. The black and red gown hides nothing. His condition is obvious to everyone in this room. Whispers ripple through the crowd like poison. Is that really? 6 months along, I heard. An Omega challenging Luca da Vinci. Cassius closes his eyes, the music swells. He opens his mouth, and this time the sound that emerges is pure, clear, the kind of voice that makes grown men weep and women clutch their pearls. Each note climbs higher, suspended in the air like something holy, something untouchable. Luca leans forward, his knuckles whiten against the armrest. The audience holds its breath. Cassius can feel it, that shift in the room when 300 people stop thinking and start feeling. His voice wraps around them, squeezes, demands their attention. The pregnancy makes everything harder, his breath control is shot, his balance is off, and the constant pressure in his lower back screams with every sustained note, but he pushes through it. The third verse approaches, the difficult part, the part where most trained sopranos fail. Cassius hits the high C, holds it. His vision blurs at the edges. The chandelier above seems to spin, crystal teardrops catching light and throwing rainbows across the sea of upturned faces. His hand moves from his belly to his throat, feeling the vibration there, willing his body to cooperate just a little longer. Then he feels it. A sharp, stabbing pain low in his abdomen. Not a kick this time, something else, something wrong. His voice wavers, the note drops half a step, the orchestra stumbles, trying to compensate, but it's too late. The damage is done, the spell breaks. Cassius gasps, his free hand flying back to his stomach. The pain intensifies, spreading like fire through his pelvis. He looks down and sees it, a dark spot blooming on the deep red fabric of his gown, small but growing. Blood! Luca stands. The movement is so sudden, so violent, that his chair tips backward and crashes to the marble floor. The sound echoes like a gunshot. Every head in the opera house turns to watch the most dangerous man in New York stride toward the stage, his jaw set, his eyes locked on Cassius with an intensity that makes the Omega's knees buckle. Don't you dare stop, Luca says, his voice low enough that only Cassius and the front row can hear. You finish this. You hear me, you finish it. Cassius stares at him, at the man who runs half this city from the shadows, at the father of the child currently trying to claw its way out of him 3 months too early, at the alpha who just bet his reputation, his entire empire, on whether an Omega could sing. The conductor looks between them, baton raised, uncertain. The pain pulses again. Cassius tastes copper, his legs shake. But Luca's eyes don't leave his face. There's something there, not concern, not quite, something harder, more desperate. Like Cassius failing isn't just about the bet, like there's something bigger at stake that the Omega doesn't understand yet. Cassius straightens, nods once. The conductor brings the baton down. And Cassius opens his mouth to sing, even as the blood spreads further across his gown, even as his vision tunnels, even as he realizes with absolute certainty that finishing this aria might cost him everything. Will Cassius sacrifice his baby to win Luca's challenge, or will the mafia boss finally show mercy before it's too late? 2 weeks earlier, Cassius had been nobody. Well, not nobody. He'd had a name, a reputation in certain circles. The Omega who could sing anything, jazz, classical, gospel, and make it sound like heaven opened up and poured itself into the room. But in Luca da Vinci's world, talent meant nothing without power to back it up. The first time they met, Cassius was performing at the Sapphire Room, an underground club in Brooklyn that catered to the kind of clientele who paid in cash and never gave their real names. He'd been hired for a 3-night run, singing standards for men in expensive suits who drank expensive whiskey and made deals that would never see daylight. Luca had walked in on the second night. Cassius remembers the moment the air in the room changed, how conversations stopped mid-sentence, how the bartender's hand shook as he poured a drink, how every alpha in the vicinity turned toward the entrance like sunflowers tracking the sun. Then Cassius saw him. Tall, broad-shouldered, face carved from marble and just as cold. The Tom Ford suit fit him like it had been sewn onto his body. His presence filled the room, made it smaller, made everyone in it aware of exactly how much space they were taking up and whether they deserved it. Luca sat down at a table near the stage, didn't order a drink, didn't speak to anyone, just watched Cassius with those dark, calculating eyes. Cassius had finished his set with Summertime, letting the last note fade into silence before the applause started. When he stepped off the stage, his manager intercepted him in the hallway. "That man wants to see you." "Which man?" "The one you don't say no to." Cassius found Luca in a private room upstairs. The alpha sat behind a mahogany desk, fingers steepled beneath his chin. Behind him, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the Brooklyn Bridge, lights reflecting off the East River like fallen stars. "You're good," Luca said. "No introduction, no pleasantries." "Thank you. How much do they pay you here?" Cassius named a figure. Luca laughed, a short, sharp sound that held no humor. "I'll triple it, you come work for me." "Doing what?" "Whatever I tell you to." Cassius should have walked out, should have recognized the trap being set, but he'd been struggling. 3 jobs barely covering rent on a studio apartment in Queens, student loans from the conservatory he'd attended before dropping out, medical bills from his mother's cancer treatment that insurance refused to cover. So he'd said yes. For 6 months he sang at Luca's clubs, high-end places in Manhattan where the champagne cost more than Cassius made in a week, where politicians and CEOs rubbed shoulders with criminals and nobody asked questions, where the line between legal and illegal blurred into irrelevance. Luca never touched him, never made advances, but he was always there, always watching, always present in a way that made Cassius hyper-aware of every breath he took. Then came the charity gala. Luca's organization, legitimately registered as a luxury brand management company, hosted an event at the Plaza Hotel. Black tie, $5,000 a plate, all proceeds going to underprivileged youth programs. The kind of public relations exercise that let men like Luca pretend they weren't exactly what everyone knew they were. Cassius performed that night. Puccini, Verdi, Mozart. The crowd loved him. Loved the way his voice soared above the clinking crystal and polite conversation. Loved the novelty of an Omega with that much talent, that much presence. After his set, Luca found him on the balcony. The city stretched out below them, endless and glittering and cold. "You ever think about what you're doing with your life?" Luca asked. "Every day. And I'm surviving, that's enough." Luca turned to face him. For the first time since they'd met, something shifted in his expression, something almost human. "What if I told you I could give you more than survival? I'd ask what you want in return. Nothing you're not willing to give." The kiss happened fast. One moment they were standing 3 feet apart, and the next Luca's hand was on the back of Cassius's neck, pulling him close. The Omega's mind screamed danger, but his body melted into it anyway, into the heat of it, the certainty. They spent that night together, and the next, and the one after that. Cassius knew better, knew Omegas didn't date men like Luca da Vinci, knew this would end badly, but he couldn't stop, didn't want to stop. The pregnancy test came back positive 6 weeks later. Cassius stared at the 2 pink lines in his bathroom, hands shaking. He hadn't told Luca yet, hadn't told anyone. He'd been trying to figure out how to handle it on his own, because that's what you did when you got pregnant by a Mafia boss who'd never promised you anything permanent. But then Luca showed up at his apartment unannounced, took one look at Cassius's face and knew. "How long?" "6 weeks. Luca crossed the room in 3 strides, pulled Cassius into his arms, held him there. "We're keeping it." Not a question, a statement. And somehow that made everything worse, because Cassius realized then that Luca da Vinci didn't just want him for entertainment, didn't just want him for the prestige of having a talented Omega on his arm. Luca wanted something deeper, something that scared Cassius more than any threat ever could. He wanted family. But now, standing backstage at the Belmont Opera House, blood seeping through his gown and Luca's challenge hanging in the air like a guillotine blade. Cassius wonders if wanting family is enough to keep them both alive through what comes next. The orchestra starts again. Cassius forces air into his lungs. The pain in his abdomen pulses with each heartbeat, a metronome counting down to disaster. He can feel the blood now, warm and sticky against his inner thigh. Not a lot, not yet, but enough to know this is bad, enough to know he should stop. He doesn't stop. His voice emerges raw this time, less polished, more human. The first phrase of the aria comes out shaky, uncertain, like he's learning to walk on ice. The audience shifts, someone coughs. The spell he'd woven earlier is gone, and what remains is just a pregnant Omega struggling to breathe, let alone sing. Luca hasn't moved from his position at the edge of the stage. His hands grip the stage's edge, knuckles white. Everyone can see him now, see the most feared man in New York watching his Omega fall apart in real time. Some of them probably enjoy it. The great Luca da Vinci, finally vulnerable, finally human. Cassius pushes into the second verse. His voice cracks again on a high note. He tastes bile, swallows it down. The baby kicks hard, as if protesting this entire situation, or maybe encouraging him. Cassius can't tell anymore. Everything is starting to blur. Behind him, the backdrop of painted Italian countryside seems to tilt. He adjusts his stance, spreads his feet wider for balance. The movement sends another spike of pain through his pelvis. He gasps, the sound echoing through the microphone, and the orchestra falters. The conductor looks panicked. His baton wavers midair. "Keep going," Luca's voice cuts through the chaos, loud enough for everyone to hear now. "Don't you dare stop." A woman in the third row stands up. "This is insane. Someone call a doctor." "Sit down." Luca doesn't even look at her. His eyes stay locked on Cassius. The woman sits. That's when Cassius understands, really understands. This isn't about the music anymore. Maybe it never was. This is about power. About Luca proving something to everyone in this room. About showing them that even an Omega, especially an Omega carrying his child, belongs to him completely. That when Luca da Vinci makes a bet, he wins. No exceptions. The realization should make Cassius angry. Should make him walk off stage, middle finger raised, audience be damned. Instead, it focuses him. He straightens his spine, plants his feet, places one hand protectively over his belly and raises the other in a dramatic gesture the character demands. When he opens his mouth again, the sound that comes out is different, harder, defiant. The orchestra catches the shift, the strings swell beneath him, the woodwinds add texture, the brass punctuates each phrase with golden emphasis. Cassius stops singing for the audience. He sings for the child inside him, for every Omega who's ever been told they're too weak, too emotional, too controlled by their biology to achieve greatness. He sings for his mother, dead 2 years now, who used to tell him his voice was a gift from God. He sings for himself, the version of himself that still believed music could save him before Luca da Vinci walked into his life and complicated everything. The notes soar, his vibrato steadies. The pain recedes just enough for him to push through the difficult runs, the quick coloratura passages that require breath control he doesn't have. His vision tunnels, darkness creeping in from the edges, but he doesn't stop. The audience leans forward. Even the critics in the back row, the ones who came here expecting a spectacle of failure, find themselves holding their breath. Luca's expression hasn't changed, but something shifts in his posture. He releases his grip on the stage edge, takes one step back, then another. Cassius hits the climax of the aria, the note that every soprano dreams of nailing and fears attempting. He sustains it, holds it, pours everything he has left into making it perfect. The chandelier above seems to resonate with the frequency. Crystal vibrates, light scatters into 1,000 fragments. Then the note ends. Silent. Cassius stands there, chest heaving, blood soaking through his gown in an obvious pattern now. He doesn't move, can't move, his legs have locked up. The baby has gone still inside him, too still, and panic floods through him cold and electric. Then someone starts clapping. Not from the audience, from backstage. A figure emerges from the wings, tall, broad, wearing a suit that matches Luca's in cut and quality, but where Luca's presence commands attention, this man's presence promises violence. Marcus Tate, Luca's oldest rival, the alpha who controls the South Side territories that Luca's been trying to acquire for 3 years. Well, well, Marcus says, his voice carrying across the hushed opera house. That was moving. Really, I almost forgot I came here to kill you both. He pulls a gun from inside his jacket, aims it at Cassius. Luca moves, faster than Cassius has ever seen him move. He leaps onto the stage, placing himself between Marcus and the Omega, arms spread wide like he can stop bullets with sheer willpower. "You don't want to do this," Luca says. His voice is steady, calm, the voice of a man who's had guns pointed at him before and walked away. "Don't I?" Marcus tilts his head. "You made a bet, Luca. Public, stupid, the kind of bet that makes you look soft, makes you look like you care more about some Omega than about business." He finished the aria. He didn't finish it perfectly. "You think I didn't notice the cracked notes, the blood, the way he nearly collapsed 3 times? Marcus laughs. "You're losing your edge, old friend. Time was, you would have shot him yourself for failing." The audience erupts, people scramble for exits. Bodyguards appear from nowhere, forming a perimeter around Marcus, around Luca. The theater descends into controlled chaos. But Cassius can't focus on any of it. Because the pain has returned. Worse this time, so much worse. His knees give out. He collapses onto the stage, hands clutching his stomach. And that's when his water breaks. The liquid pools beneath Cassius in a spreading circle. Clear, tinged with pink, unmistakable. For 3 seconds, nobody moves. Then Luca spins around. He sees Cassius on the floor, sees the wetness, sees the Omega's face twisted in agony, and something happens to him. Something breaks. The mask he wears, the cold, calculated mob boss, cracks completely. "Get a doctor," his voice echoes through the opera house. Raw, desperate, human. Marcus lowers his gun an inch, stares. Even he seems caught off guard by this development. "Jesus Christ, Luca, you got him pregnant and made him perform. What kind of doctor now?" 2 men in the audience stand up. One introduces himself as an ER physician, the other an obgyn. They push through the crowd, rush the stage. The obgyn kneels beside Cassius, starts examining him with efficient, practiced movements. "How far along?" she asks. 6 months, Cassius gasps between contractions. 24 weeks. Her expression tightens. "That's too early. We need to get him to a hospital. Now." Luca's already moving. He scoops Cassius up like he weighs nothing, ignoring the Omega's protest, ignoring the blood and fluid soaking into his expensive suit. His bodyguards form a protective circle around them as they head for the exit. Marcus blocks their path. "We are not done, Luca. Get out of my way. Your Omega failed the challenge, that means." Luca shifts Cassius in his arms, freeing one hand. In a movement too fast to track, he draws his own gun and presses it under Marcus's chin. "I said get out of my way." The 2 alphas stare at each other. The entire theater holds its breath. Both men have killed before. Both men have built empires on violence and fear. But only one of them is currently holding a dying Omega and an unborn child. Marcus steps aside. Luca carries Cassius out of the opera house. The night air hits them cold and sharp. A black SUV pulls up, tires screeching. They pile in. The vehicle tears through Manhattan traffic, running red lights, weaving between taxis, heading toward Mount Sinai Hospital on the Upper East Side. Cassius drifts in and out of consciousness. The contractions come every 3 minutes now. Each one feels like his body is tearing itself apart from the inside. He can hear Luca talking to the driver, to someone on the phone, to Cassius himself, but the words don't make sense anymore. "Stay with me, you hear me? Stay with me. It's the baby. The baby's fine, you're both fine, we're almost there." But Cassius knows that's not true. He can feel it, the way his body is giving up, the way the contractions are getting weaker instead of stronger, like his uterus is too exhausted to continue, the way the world is fading to grey at the edges. They arrive at the hospital. Doctors and nurses swarm them. Cassius is transferred to a gurney, wheeled through automated doors into bright fluorescent light. Luca tries to follow, but a nurse stops him. "Sir, you need to. That's my Omega, that's my child." "Sir, I understand, but I own this hospital." Luca's voice drops to something deadly quiet. "The entire building, the land it sits on, the equipment inside, I own all of it, so when I say I'm going wherever he goes, I mean it." The nurse swallows, steps aside. They take Cassius to the maternity ward, rush him into a private room. The obgyn from the opera house followed them somehow. She's there, scrubbing in, shouting orders to the staff. "Start him on magnesium sulfate, check fetal heart rate, get me an ultrasound, now." Cassius lies on the bed, staring at the ceiling tiles. Someone sticks an IV in his arm. Someone else wraps a blood pressure cuff around his bicep. Monitors beep, machines hum. The The baby's heartbeat fills the room through speakers, fast, erratic, distressed. Luca grabs Cassius's hand, squeezes. His face is pale, actually pale. Cassius has never seen him look scared before, didn't think it was possible. "The bet," Cassius whispers. "I didn't finish, I failed." "Forget the bet." "But you said." "I don't care what I said. I don't care about Marcus or the territory or any of it. Just stay alive, please, just stay alive." The Obgyn appears beside them, expression grave. The baby's in distress, heart rate's dropping. "If we don't deliver now, we're going to lose them both." "Do it," Luca says immediately. At 24 weeks, the survival rate is. "I said do it." They prep Cassius for emergency surgery. The anesthesiologist explains the epidural, but Cassius barely hears. He's watching Luca, the way the alpha's jaw is clenched, the way his hands are shaking, actually shaking, as they suit him up in scrubs. "I'm sorry," Cassius says. Don't you dare apologize." "I should have stopped, should have told you no. I should have never asked." Luca leans down, presses his forehead to Cassius's. "I'm the one who's sorry. I did this. I put you up there. I put our child at risk because I was too proud to back down from a challenge. This is on me." It's the most honest thing Luca has ever said to him. Then they wheel Cassius into the operating room, and everything becomes a blur of surgical lights and cold metal and voices speaking medical jargon he doesn't understand. He feels pressure but no pain, feels tugging, pulling, the sound of suction. Then, impossibly, he hears it. A cry. Thin, weak, but alive. "It's a boy," someone announces. They hold the baby up for a second. Cassius glimpses tiny fists, wrinkled skin, eyes squeezed shut. So small, too small. The infant disappears into the hands of the NICU team before Cassius can even process what he's seeing. Luca's face appears above him. There are tears on his cheeks. Actual tears. "He's alive," Luca whispers. "Our son is alive." Then Cassius's vision blurs. The monitors start beeping frantically. Someone shouts about blood pressure dropping, about hemorrhaging, about coding. The last thing Cassius sees before the darkness takes him is Luca's face. The raw terror there. The realization that winning the bet, surviving the pregnancy, delivering the baby, none of it matters if Cassius doesn't wake up. Cassius wakes up 3 days later. The first thing he registers is pain. Deep, aching pain radiating from his abdomen. The second thing is beeping, steady, rhythmic, electronic. The third thing is Luca's voice. "Don't care what the board says, triple the security. Nobody gets in or out without clearance. I want armed guards on every floor, cameras in every hallway. If Marcus Tate even thinks about coming near this building, I want to know about it." Cassius tries to speak. His throat is sandpaper dry. He manages a sound somewhere between a croak and a whisper. Luca's by his side instantly. Hey, you're awake, don't try to talk, let me get the nurse." "Baby," Cassius rasps. He's okay, he's in the NICU. 1 pound 7 ounces, breathing on his own with some help. The doctors say he's a fighter. Luca brushes hair back from Cassius's forehead. The gesture is tender, unfamiliar. "You've been out for 3 days. You hemorrhaged during surgery. They almost lost you twice." Cassius processes this slowly. 3 days. He's missed 3 days of his son's life. "I want to see him." "You need to recover first. The doctors." "Now." Luca stares at him, then nods. "Okay, now." They transport Cassius in a wheelchair. The NICU is on the same floor, down a long corridor painted in soft yellows and blues. Security guards nod at Luca as they pass. Everyone in this hospital knows who he is, what he is. The NICU itself is hushed. Dim lighting, the sound of ventilators and heart monitors creating an odd mechanical symphony. Nurses move between isolettes with practiced efficiency. Their son is in the back corner, isolette 7. Cassius's breath catches when he sees him. So small, impossibly small, tubes and wires everywhere, a ventilator mask covering half his face. His skin is translucent. Cassius can see veins beneath it, see the rapid flutter of his heartbeat in his chest. Tiny fingers curl and uncurl. His eyes are closed. "Can I touch him?" Cassius asks the nurse. Through the hand ports, gently, his skin is very sensitive. Cassius reaches through the circular opening in the isolette side. His hand shakes as he extends one finger, barely brushing his son's palm. The infant's fingers immediately curl around it. Such a small gesture, such an enormous weight. "He knows you," Luca says quietly. He's standing behind Cassius's wheelchair, hands gripping the handles. The nurses say he calms down when I talk to him, like he recognizes the voice. Have you named him? I was waiting for you. Cassius watches his son, this tiny, fragile life they've created, born 3 months too early because his father is too stubborn to back down from a challenge, and his papa is too stubborn to admit when he's in over his head. Isaiah, Cassius says, I want to name him Isaiah. Isaiah Divin Sirene, Luca tests the name, it's perfect. They stay there for an hour, just watching, just existing in this small bubble where nothing matters except the rise and fall of Isaiah's chest, where gang wars and opera challenges and bleeding on stage feel like they happened in another lifetime. Then Cassius's phone buzzes. He's not sure when someone brought it to him, but it's in his lap, a text message from an unknown number. The message contains a single photo. It's Cassius on stage at the opera house, blood-stained gown, collapsed. The angle suggests it was taken from the balcony. Below the photo, 5 words. You should have finished the song. Cassius's blood runs cold. He shows the phone to Luca. The Alpha's jaw tightens. He pulls out his own phone, makes a call. Get me Marcus Tate's location. Now I don't care how. Use every resource we have. Find him. He hangs up, looks at Cassius. I'm going to end this. How? The way these things always end. Cassius knows what that means. Has always known, since the first night Luca walked into the Sapphire Room and changed his life forever. Men like Luca da Vinci don't negotiate, don't compromise, they eliminate threats. I'm coming with you, Cassius says. You just had surgery. I don't care. Cassius. He threatened our son. Cassius's voice is steel. He sent that photo to remind us he can get to us. To Isaiah, I'm not sitting in this hospital while you handle it. We end this together. Luca studies him, looking for weakness, for hesitation, finding neither. All right, he finally says, together. They leave the NICU, leave Isaiah in the capable hands of the nursing staff. But as the elevator descends toward the parking garage, Cassius catches his reflection in the polished metal doors. He looks different, harder. The soft edges that came with carrying a child have been replaced by something sharper, more dangerous. Maybe that's what survival requires. Maybe that's the price of loving someone like Luca da Vinci. The elevator doors open. Marcus Tate stands in the parking garage, flanked by 6 armed men. He's holding a detonator. Hello, Luca, Marcus says, smiling. I believe we have unfinished business regarding a certain bet, and since your Omega couldn't finish the aria properly, I've decided to collect my winnings myself. He presses the button. The hospital lights flicker and die as explosions rock the building's foundation, and somewhere 6 floors above them, in the NICU, their infant son starts to cry. How will Luca and Cassius save their newborn son when Marcus Tate has just turned the hospital into a war zone? The explosion rips through the underground parking garage like thunder trapped in a concrete box. Cassius feels the shockwave before he hears it. The force slams him backward into the elevator, his wheelchair tipping sideways. Luca catches him, one arm around his waist, the other reaching for the gun holstered at his hip. Dust and debris rain down from the ceiling. Car alarms shriek. Overhead lights swing wildly on their fixtures, casting crazy shadows across Marcus Tate's grinning face. That was the south wing, Marcus says, voice calm like he's discussing the weather. Where the NICU is located, or was located, past tense now, I suppose. Luca's gun clears the holster. He aims center mass, finger on the trigger. Marcus doesn't flinch. Shoot me and my men detonate the rest. Your choice, old friend. Your Omega and your pride, or that screaming infant 6 floors up. Cassius's world tilts. Isaiah, their son, barely 3 days old, 1 pound 7 ounces, breathing with machine assistance, in a building that's actively exploding. You're bluffing, Luca says, but his hand shakes. Actually shakes. Am I? Marcus nods to one of his men. The guy holds up a tablet. On the screen, security footage shows the NICU, nurses running, smoke filtering through air vents, isolates being wheeled toward exits. And there, isolate 7. Isaiah, still connected to machines, still too fragile to move quickly. The explosives are on a timer, Marcus continues. 2 minutes between detonations. That was number 1. Number 2 hits the 4th floor, right below your precious baby. Number 3 takes out the NICU itself. You've got maybe 4 minutes total before that whole wing comes down. Cassius tries to stand. His legs won't support him. The surgery was 3 days ago. His body hasn't healed, but Isaiah needs him, needs both of them. Luca's jaw clenches. He's calculating. Cassius can see it in his eyes, the math of violence. How many of Marcus's men he can drop before they trigger more explosives. How fast he can reach the stairs. Whether he can save Cassius and Isaiah both, or if he'll have to choose. "What do you want?" Cassius asks. His voice cuts through the chaos. Clear, steady. Marcus's attention shifts to him. "What do I want? I want what was promised. Luca made a bet. You failed to deliver. That means everything he wagered becomes mine." "I finished the aria." "You collapsed halfway through. Blood everywhere. Missed notes. That's not completion. That's failure." Marcus takes a step closer. "The bet was perfection. You didn't give it, so now Luca pays. His territory, his clubs, his omega, all of it transfers to me." Another explosion rocks the building. Closer this time. The 4th floor, just like Marcus said. The parking garage ceiling cracks. Chunks of concrete crash down onto cars. One of Marcus's men yelps as a piece clips his shoulder. 90 seconds, Marcus says, checking his watch. Better decide fast. Luca looks at Cassius, really looks at him. In that moment, Cassius sees everything they've been through. The Sapphire Room, the Plaza Hotel, the pregnancy test, the Opera House, Isaiah's tiny hand wrapping around his finger, all of it compressed into a single glance. Then Luca holsters his gun. "Take it," he says, "take all of it. The territory, the clubs, the businesses, I don't care, just let them go." Marcus's smile widens. "See, was that so hard? All you had to do was admit." Cassius grabs the gun from Luca's holster. He moves before his brain can catch up, before pain or weakness or common sense can stop him. The weapon feels heavy in his hand, foreign, but he raises it anyway, points it at Marcus. "The detonator," Cassius says, "give it to me now." Everyone freezes. Marcus laughs. "You're joking, you don't even know how to use that." "I know which end the bullets come out of, that's enough." Cassius's finger finds the trigger, the detonator, or I find out if I can shoot straight. Luca moves to stand beside him, not in front of him, beside him, equal, you heard him. The tension in the garage is thick enough to choke on. Marcus's men have their weapons drawn now, 6 guns pointed at Luca and Cassius, 2 against 7, terrible odds, suicidal odds. But Marcus is looking at Cassius differently now, like he's seeing him for the first time, not as property to be claimed, not as a prize to be won, as something dangerous in his own right. 60 seconds, one of Marcus's men says, voice tight. Marcus weighs his options. He could call the bluff, could let the NICU explode, but that would mean killing an infant. Even in their world, that crosses a line, the kind of line that turns allies into enemies. That makes other bosses decide you're too unstable to do business with. "Fine," Marcus says finally. He tosses the detonator. Cassius catches it one-handed, presses the kill switch. The device beeps 3 times, then goes silent. For 5 seconds, nobody breathes. Then Luca moves, fast, brutal, efficient. He disarms the nearest guard, uses the man's own weapon to drop 2 more. Cassius fires once, misses, fires again. This time the bullet catches a guard in the thigh. The man goes down screaming. Marcus draws his own gun, but Luca's already on him. They crash into a concrete pillar. The gun skitters across the floor. They fight hand to hand, decades of bad blood erupting into raw violence. Cassius tries to help, takes 2 steps and his legs give out. The wheelchair is overturned somewhere behind him. He hits the ground hard, fire exploding through his abdomen where the surgical incisions are still healing. A guard appears above him, gun raised. Cassius rolls. The bullet sparks off concrete where his head was a second ago. He swings his own weapon up, pulls the trigger. Nothing happens, safety's on. He fumbles for it, but the guard is already aiming again. Then Luca is there. He takes the guard down with a throat strike that leaves the man gasping on the ground, helps Cassius up. Blood runs down Luca's face from a cut above his eye, but he's grinning, actually grinning. "Not bad for a first firefight," Luca says. "Where's Marcus?" They both turn. Marcus is gone. The remaining guards are either unconscious or retreating toward the garage exit. In the distance, sirens wail, police, fire department, ambulances, the whole city responding to a hospital under attack. Luca and Cassius stumble toward the stairwell, 6 floors up. Cassius counts each step. Each one is agony. His vision grays out twice, but he keeps moving. Isaiah is up there, their son. Nothing else matters. They reach the NICU. The door is blown off its hinges. Smoke hangs thick in the air. Nurses are evacuating infants, carrying isolettes down hallways toward functioning elevators on the building's east side. Isolette 7 is empty. Cassius's heart stops. Where is he? His voice comes out broken. Where's my son? A nurse appears through the smoke. She's carrying a bundled infant, tubes still attached, portable ventilator in her other hand. Isaiah Rain de Vinci, she asks. Cassius nods, can't speak. He's okay, we got him out first. Dr. Chen's orders, the baby in 7 gets priority evacuation. She said his father's own the hospital, and she's not about to explain to Luca da Vinci why his son didn't make it. Relief hits Cassius so hard he nearly collapses again. Luca catches him, holds him up. The nurse hands Isaiah over. Cassius cradles his son against his chest, careful of all the tubes and wires. The baby's eyes are open now, dark, alert, looking right at him. Hey, Cassius whispers. Hey, little man, we're here, we've got you. Isaiah makes a sound, not quite a cry, more like a coo. His tiny hand reaches up, fingers brushing Cassius's chin. In that moment, covered in dust and blood and debris, Cassius understands something fundamental. This is what Luca was trying to prove with the opera challenge. Not that Cassius could sing, not that he could endure, but that their family, this impossible, dangerous, beautiful family, was worth fighting for, worth risking everything for. Luca's phone buzzes. He answers, listens, his expression darkening. Marcus just hit 3 of our warehouses on the south side, burned them to the ground. My people are reporting casualties. He meets Cassius's eyes. This isn't over. He's going to keep coming until one of us is dead. Then we end it, Cassius says. Tonight, no more waiting, no more games. You just had surgery, you can barely walk. I can walk well enough. Cassius adjusts his grip on Isaiah, gentle but firm. Get me somewhere safe for him, then you and I are going to finish what Marcus started. Luca stares at him, then slowly nods. They evacuate with the others. Outside, the night air is cold and sharp. Emergency vehicles fill the street. News helicopters circle overhead, cameras recording everything. By morning, this will be everywhere, the Mafia war that turned a hospital into a battlefield. Luca makes calls. Within 20 minutes, a secure transport arrives. Armored SUV, armed guards. They take Isaiah to a private facility in Brooklyn, a place Luca owns that's not on any official records. The medical staff there are the best money can buy, paid to be loyal, paid to keep secrets. Cassius kisses his son's forehead before handing him over to the nurses. I'll be back soon, I promise. Isaiah's eyes track him as he's carried away, like he understands, like he knows his parents are about to do something dangerous, and he's memorizing their faces just in case. Then it's just Luca and Cassius in the back of another SUV, heading toward Marcus Tate's territory in Red Hook. You sure about this? Luca asks. Cassius checks the gun tucked into his waistband, the one he used in the parking garage, the one that saved both their lives. He threatened our family, Cassius says quietly. He tried to kill our son, so yes, I'm sure. The SUV speeds through Brooklyn streets, past brownstones and bodegas and late-night diners, past the life Cassius used to have before Luca walked into the Sapphire room and changed everything. They park 2 blocks from Marcus's headquarters, a converted warehouse on the waterfront. Luca's intelligence says Marcus is inside, says he's gathering his people, preparing for full-scale war. They're going to give him one instead. Luca and Cassius approach the building from opposite sides. Hand signals only, no radios, no phones, just 2 people who have learned to read each other in the spaces between words. Cassius reaches the south entrance, picks the lock with tools Luca gave him. The door swings open silent on old hinges. Inside, voices echo. Marcus's voice, loud and confident, giving orders. At least a dozen men in there, maybe more. Cassius takes a breath, thinks of Isaiah, of those tiny fingers curling around his, of the life they're trying to build in a world that wants to tear them apart. Then he steps through the door, gun raised, and discovers Marcus Tate wasn't gathering his people for war. He was gathering them for an execution. And tied to chairs in the center of the warehouse, bloodied and beaten, are Cassius's mother's sister Aunt Vera and his younger brother Deshaun, who Cassius hasn't seen in 2 years, who he thought was safe in Atlanta, who shouldn't even know he's in New York. Will Cassius and Luca save his family before Marcus executes them, or has the Mafia boss finally found the leverage that will break them both? Marcus holds a gun to Aunt Vera's head. Cassius freezes in the doorway, his weapon feels suddenly useless. His training, all 2 hours of it courtesy of Luca's crash course, evaporates. All he can see is Vera, 63 years old, silver hair matted with blood, eyes wide with terror but still defiant, still her. There he is, Marcus says, smiling, the opera star himself. Come in, we've been waiting for you. Deshawn struggles against his restraints. He's 22 now, Cassius's baby brother, though there's nothing baby about him anymore. 6'3", built like their father was, but right now he looks young, scared. Cass, Deshawn's voice cracks. What's going on? Who are these people? Cassius doesn't answer, can't answer. His mind is racing, trying to figure out how Marcus knew about Vera and Deshawn, how he found them, how he got them here. Lower the gun, Marcus says, or I redecorate this warehouse with your aunt's brain matter. Your choice. Cassius lowers the gun, lets it clatter to the concrete floor. Good boy, Marcus gestures to his men. 2 of them grab Cassius, pat him down, find the knife in his boot and the phone in his pocket. They shove him toward a third chair, zip-tie his wrists to the arms. Now we wait for Luca, Marcus says, because he's coming, of course he's coming, probably circling the building right now, trying to figure out the best entry point. He's predictable that way, always has been. Cassius looks at Vera. Did they hurt you? Nothing I can't handle. Her voice is steady, stronger than it should be. I'm more worried about you, baby. What kind of mess have you gotten yourself into? Long story. We've got time, Marcus says cheerfully. He pulls up a chair, sits down facing them. The gun stays pointed at Vera. Actually, we don't, but let's pretend we do. Let's have a nice family chat while we wait for your alpha to show up and die trying to save you. The warehouse is huge. Old shipping facility, mostly empty now except for some crates along the back wall. High ceilings, metal beams crisscrossing overhead, skylights letting in ambient city glow. A dozen guards positioned around the perimeter, all armed, all watching. Cassius scans for exits. 3 doors, one he came through, one on the opposite wall, one on the east side, partially hidden behind stacked pallets, all covered, no clear way out. How'd you find them? Cassius asks, buying time. Your brother's very active on social media, Marcus says. Posted about visiting New York 2 days ago. #family reunion. #big brother surprise. Very sweet, also very stupid. Deshawn's face flushes. I didn't know. Of course you didn't. You're what, 22, 23? You think you're invincible, think nothing bad can touch you. Marcus leans forward. Here's a lesson, kid. When your brother's sleeping with a mob boss, you don't advertise your location on Instagram. Aunt Vera's eyes cut to Cassius. Sleeping with a what now? Also long story, Cassius mutters. Cassius Jerome Rain, Vera's using her full name voice, the one that used to make him confess to breaking the good china before she even asked. You better start talking, right now. Or don't, Marcus interrupts. Honestly, I don't care about your family drama. I care about Luca showing up so I can kill all of you together, make it poetic. The Omega who couldn't finish the opera, the mob boss who got soft, the collateral damage that should have stayed in Atlanta. Beautiful, really. A sound echoes from somewhere above. Metal on metal, everyone's heads snap up. Marcus grins, right on schedule. The skylight explodes inward. Glass rains down. A figure drops through the opening, lands in a crouch, rolls behind cover. Gunfire erupts. Marcus's guards open up on the position. Bullets punch holes in crates, spark off concrete, ricochet wildly. Luca returns fire. 3 guards drop. Then he's moving, using the crates for cover, advancing on their position with single-minded focus. Marcus grabs Vera, hauls her up as a human shield. Stop right there, or the old lady dies. Luca stops, he's 20 feet away. Gun raised, blood on his shirt, his or someone else's, Cassius can't tell. Let them go, Luca says, voice flat, empty of emotion, the voice he uses when he's about to kill someone. No, Marcus presses the gun harder against Vera's temple. She winces but doesn't cry out. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to put your weapon down, then you're going to walk over here. Then I'm going to execute all 4 of you, film it, and send the video to every organization you've ever done business with. Show them what happens when someone challenges Marcus Tate. You kill us, and my people will hunt you to the ends of the earth. Your people will be too busy fighting over who takes control to worry about revenge. Marcus's smile is ugly. You've gotten weak, Luca. Everyone sees it. The Omega, the baby, the public displays of emotion. You're not the man you used to be. You're a liability now. And in our world, liabilities get eliminated. Cassius tests his restraints. The zip ties are tight but not impossible, if he can just get enough leverage. Don't, Marcus says, noticing. I see you trying. Stop, or I shoot your brother first. Cassius freezes. Deshawn is shaking now, full body tremors. He's crying, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, he keeps saying. I'm so sorry, Cass, I didn't mean to. It's okay, Cassius tells him. It's not your fault. Touching, Marcus says. Really, but I'm getting bored. Luca, gun down now, last warning. Luca looks at Cassius. Their eyes meet across 20 feet of concrete and carnage. In that look, Cassius sees everything. Sees the night they met. The way Luca walked into the Sapphire room like he owned it, owned everything. Sees the first kiss on the Plaza Hotel balcony. Sees Luca's face when Cassius told him about the pregnancy. Sees him standing at the foot of the Opera House stage, watching Cassius sing. Sees him in the hospital, holding Isaiah for the first time, tears on his face. Sees the man who changed his life, for better and worse, for danger and love, for everything that matters. Luca lowers his gun. Good, Marcus says, now walk over here, slowly. Luca walks, each step measured, controlled. He's planning something. Cassius can tell. But what? They're outnumbered, outgunned, and Marcus has 3 hostages. What possible move could? Luca stops 5 feet from Marcus. Before you kill me, answer one question. Why not? I'm feeling generous. The Opera House, you said Cassius failed, but he finished the aria. I was there, so was everyone else. He completed it. He collapsed, bled everywhere, missed half the high notes. But he finished it. Luca's voice is calm, reasonable. The bet was completion, not perfection. You're the one who's misremembering the terms. Marcus's face darkens. I remember exactly. You remember what you want to remember, because admitting he succeeded means admitting you lost. That an Omega, pregnant, bleeding, dying, still beat you. He didn't beat anything. Then why are you so angry? Luca takes another step closer. Why did you bomb a hospital? Why did you kidnap his family? Why go through all this if you actually won the bet? Marcus's grip on Vera loosens slightly, just slightly. His attention is fully on Luca now. I won because. Luca moves. Fast, impossibly fast. He grabs Marcus's gun hand, twists, the weapon discharges into the ceiling. They go down in a tangle of limbs. Vera breaks free, stumbles away. The remaining guards raise their weapons but can't shoot without hitting their boss. Cassius doesn't waste the opening. He yanks hard on the zip ties, using the chair's arms for leverage. The plastic cuts into his wrists. Blood wells up. The ties stretch but don't break. One of the guards turns toward him, raises his gun. Then the east door explodes inward. Luca's people pour through. A dozen armed men, tactical gear, moving with military precision. The warehouse becomes a war zone. Gunfire echoes off metal walls. Bodies drop. Cassius pulls harder. The zip tie snaps. His left hand comes free. He works on the right one, fingers slipping in his own blood. Deshawn is screaming. Aunt Vera has crawled behind some crates. Luca and Marcus are still fighting, rolling across the concrete, each trying to gain advantage. Cassius's right hand comes free. He lunges for the gun on the floor, the one he dropped when he first came in. His fingers close around the grip. He comes up firing. 3 shots. The guard advancing on Deshawn goes down. The one aiming at Aunt Vera drops. The third bullet misses, sparks off a metal beam. Cassius runs to his brother, uses the knife one of Luca's men, tosses him to cut Deshawn free. Stay down, Cassius tells him. Don't move until it's over. What the hell is happening? I'll explain later. Right now, just stay alive. The firefight is winding down. Marcus's people are either dead or surrendering. Luca has Marcus pinned, forearm across his throat, choking him out. Marcus's face turns purple. His struggles weaken. Luca, Cassius shouts, don't kill him. Luca looks up, his eyes are wild. Feral, the man who walked into the Sapphire room is gone. This is the version underneath, the one who built an empire on violence. He tried to kill Isaiah, Luca says, voice rough. He threatened you. He kidnapped your family. Give me one reason he deserves to live. Because if you kill him now, this war never ends. Cassius walks over, gun still in his hand. His people will want revenge, then your people will retaliate, then more people die, more families get destroyed, and eventually one of those bullets finds Isaiah. So what do you suggest? Cassius kneels down, looks Marcus in the eye. The man is barely conscious. Blood runs from his nose, his breathing is ragged. We make him surrender, Cassius says, publicly, in front of everyone who matters in this city. He acknowledges he lost the bet, he cedes his territory, and in exchange we let him live. He'll never agree to that. He will, Cassius presses his gun against Marcus's forehead, because the alternative is dying here, right now, in a warehouse in Red Hook that nobody will remember. No glory, no legacy, just another dead gangster who pushed too hard. Marcus's eyes focus on Cassius. Hate burns there, but also calculation, survival instinct. Fine, Marcus rasps, fine, you win. Luca releases him slowly. Marcus collapses, coughing, gasping for air. Tomorrow night, Luca says, the Orpheum Theatre. You come alone, you announce your surrender, you transfer everything to me, then you get on a plane and never come back to New York. Marcus doesn't respond, just lies there broken. Luca's people secure the warehouse. Paramedics arrive to treat the wounded. Police show up, the ones on Luca's peril, and take statements that will make this whole thing look like a justified response to Marcus's aggression. Cassius finds Aunt Vera. She's sitting on a crate, shaking. He wraps his arms around her. I'm sorry, he whispers. I'm so sorry you got dragged into this. You're sleeping with a mob boss, she says, and apparently you had his baby. It's complicated. Complicated is an understatement, child, but she hugs him back, hard. Next time you decide to start a family with a criminal, maybe give your aunt a heads up first. There won't be a next time. Better not be, she pulls back, looks at him. But I saw how he fought for you, how far he was willing to go. That's not nothing, Cassius, that's not nothing at all. Deshawn appears, still shaky but standing. So, want to introduce me to your boyfriend, or should I call him brother-in-law? Despite everything, the blood, the bodies, the near-death experience, Cassius laughs. They leave the warehouse together. Luca's SUV is waiting outside. Dawn is breaking over Brooklyn, pink and gold light spreading across the East River. Take them to the brownstone, Luca tells one of his men. Full security detail, nobody gets near them. Where are you going? Cassius asks. To check on Isaiah, make sure the facility is secure, make sure our son is safe. Luca cups Cassius's face in his hands. Then I'm coming back for you, all of you. We're going to finish this tomorrow night, and then we're going to build the life we should have had from the start. He kisses Cassius, deep, thorough, the kind of kiss that promises everything. Then he's gone, disappearing into the SUV, speeding toward Brooklyn and their son. Cassius watches the vehicle fade into traffic. Aunt Vera moves beside him, putting a hand on his shoulder. He loves you, she says quietly. That man loves you enough to burn the world down. I know. Question is, do you love him back the same way? Cassius thinks about Isaiah, about the life growing inside him that he carried for 6 months despite the impossibility of it, about standing on that opera stage, bleeding, dying, and choosing to finish anyway, about picking up a gun tonight and using it to protect his family. Yeah, Cassius says, I do. But as they drive toward the brownstone in Bed-Stuy, as the sun rises on a city that's witnessed too much violence and not enough justice, Cassius can't shake the feeling that this isn't over. That Marcus Tate is planning something. That tomorrow night at the Orpheum Theatre, someone's going to die. And Cassius needs to make sure it's not the people he loves, because somewhere in the chaos of the past weeks, Luca da Vinci and Isaiah became more than just an alpha and a baby. They became the family Cassius never knew he needed, and now he'll do anything to keep them safe. The Orpheum Theatre fills with criminals in designer suits. Cassius stands backstage, adjusting his tie for the 3rd time. His hands won't stop shaking, not from fear, from anticipation, from the weight of what's about to happen. Luca appears beside him. He's wearing Tom Ford again, black on black, his hair is slicked back. The cut above his eye from the hospital parking garage has scabbed over, makes him look more dangerous somehow. You don't have to be here, Luca says. I can handle this alone. We've been over this, I'm not hiding anymore. Cassius meets his eyes. Marcus threatened our family. I have just as much right to watch him surrender as you do. From the stage, voices echo. The theater is packed. Every major player in New York's underworld is here. The families, the organizations, the independents, everyone who matters. Everyone who needs to see Marcus Tate bend the knee. Or see him die trying to resist. Isaiah is safe. Luca made sure of it. The baby's at the Brooklyn facility with Aunt Vera and Deshawn. 20 guards, bulletproof glass, enough security to protect a president. 5 minutes, someone calls. Luca takes Cassius's hand, squeezes. Whatever happens out there, we walk out together, understand? Together, Cassius agrees. They move to the wings. From here, Cassius can see the audience. Hundreds of people, all dangerous, all waiting to see blood. The house lights dim, a spotlight hits the stage. Marcus Tate walks out from the opposite wing. He looks different, diminished. The swagger is gone, his suit is wrinkled. There's a bruise on his jaw from where Luca hit him, but his eyes still burn with hate. He approaches the microphone at center stage. The audience goes silent. "I'm here," Marcus says, voice amplified through the theater's sound system, "because I made a bet I couldn't honor, because I let pride blind me to reality, because I put my ego ahead of what was right." The words sound rehearsed, forced, but he's saying them. Luca da Vinci won. His Omega completed the challenge. I acknowledge this. I cede my territory, my operations, my claim to the south side. Effective immediately, everything transfers to him. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. This is huge. A complete surrender, unprecedented. Marcus continues. "I'll be leaving New York. Tonight, you won't see me again." He looks directly at the wings, at Luca, at Cassius. "I hope you choke on it," Marcus says quietly. Too quiet for the microphone to catch, but Cassius reads his lips. Then Marcus reaches into his jacket. Everything happens at once. Luca shoves Cassius backward. Security guards rush the stage. Someone screams. Marcus pulls out. Not a gun. An envelope. He holds it up, but before I go, I thought the truth should come out. About why Luca really made that bet, about what he was hiding. Luca goes rigid beside Cassius. "What is he talking about?" Cassius whispers. "I don't know." Marcus tears open the envelope, pulls out papers, medical records by the look of them. "These are from New York Presbyterian Hospital," Marcus says, reading aloud now. "Patient Luca da Vinci, diagnosis testicular cancer, stage 3, prognosis, sterile, unable to father biological children." The theater erupts, voices shouting, questions flying, cameras flashing, someone tipped off the press. Cassius stares at Luca. Is that true? Luca won't meet his eyes. "It was 6 years ago, before we met. They removed, it doesn't matter, I recovered." "But you can't have children." "No, I can't." The weight of it crashes down. Isaiah, the pregnancy, the entire reason Cassius was on that opera stage in the first place. "Then Isaiah isn't yours," Cassius says slowly. "Biologically, he can't be. He's mine in every way that matters." "But the DNA." "I don't care about DNA," Luca's voice cracks. Raw, desperate. "That child is mine. Ours. The bet, the opera, all of it. I was trying to claim you both publicly. Make it so official that biology wouldn't matter, that no one could dispute our family." On stage, Marcus is still talking. So the great Luca da Vinci made a show of his Omega, put him on display, risked his life and the life of an unborn child, all to legitimize a claim on something that was never his to begin with. Cassius's mind races. The timeline, the pregnancy, 6 months along when he performed, which means he'd been pregnant when they met. Before they met, someone else was the father. Cassius doesn't remember, that's the hell of it. There was a night 3 months before the Sapphire Room, a party after a performance, too much champagne, a face he can't recall, a name he never learned, a mistake he spent weeks trying to forget. Until the pregnancy test came back positive, and Luca had been there, and it had been easier to let him assume. "You knew," Cassius says, "you knew Isaiah wasn't yours from the beginning." "I suspected, but it didn't change anything." "It changes everything," Cassius's voice rises. "You made me perform while pregnant, you risked our lives for a lie." "Not a lie, a truth that biology doesn't define." Luca grabs his shoulders. "I love you, I love that child. Whether my DNA made him or not doesn't change what I feel, doesn't change that I'd die for either of you." The audience is chaos now, people standing, shouting, demanding answers. Marcus stands at the microphone, triumphant. He's destroyed Luca's reputation without firing a shot. Cassius pulls away from Luca. His chest feels tight. He can't breathe properly. The walls are closing in. He needs air, needs space, needs to think. He runs, out of the wings down a hallway, through a side exit into the alley behind the theater. The night air hits his face. Cold, sharp, real. Luca follows, of course he follows. "Cassius, wait." "Don't," Cassius spins around. "Don't tell me it doesn't matter. Don't tell me love is enough. You lied to me, for months. You let me believe. I let you believe I loved you, because I do, that's not a lie. But everything else was. Cassius's voice breaks. The bet, the opera, the public display, all of it was theater, performance. You were trying to claim something that was never yours. Isaiah is mine, you're mine, not because of biology or ownership or any of that, because we chose each other, because we built something real in the middle of all this violence and chaos. Luca steps closer. You think I care that some faceless stranger contributed DNA? I was there when you were pregnant, when you performed, when you went into labor, when Isaiah took his first breath. That makes me his father, not biology. Cassius wants to stay angry, wants to hold on to the rage, but he's so tired, tired of fighting, tired of running, tired of pretending life is simple when it never has been. Why didn't you just tell me? Cassius asks quietly. Because I was afraid you'd leave, afraid you'd say the baby deserved a real father, afraid I'd lose both of you before I'd even really had you. Inside the theater, more shouting, security trying to regain control, Marcus's voice still amplified through speakers, twisting the knife. Luca's phone buzzes, he checks it, his face goes white. What? Cassius asks. The Brooklyn facility, it's under attack. The world tilts. Isaiah, Aunt Vera, Deshawn. This was a distraction, Cassius realizes. Marcus never planned to surrender, he just needed to get us here, away from Brooklyn. They run, back through the theater, past the chaos on stage, out to where Luca's SUV is waiting. They're moving before the doors are fully closed. The driver floors it, weaving through Manhattan traffic toward the bridge. Luca makes calls, barking orders, mobilizing every resource he has, but Cassius can see the fear in his eyes, the same fear that's clawing up Cassius's throat. What if they're too late? What if Marcus has already? No, Cassius says out loud. No, Isaiah's okay, he has to be okay. He will be, Luca says, but his voice lacks conviction. They cross into Brooklyn. The facility is in Red Hook, industrial area, quiet this time of night. As they approach, Cassius sees smoke. Lots of smoke. The SUV screeches to a stop. Cassius is out before it's fully parked, running toward the building. Luca beside him. Security guards are down, some dead, some wounded. The front entrance is blown open. Inside, the facility is a war zone. Bodies everywhere, the smell of gunpowder and blood. Cassius takes the stairs two at a time, heading for the third floor where Isaiah's room is. The door is open. The room is empty. The bassinet where Isaiah should be is overturned. Medical equipment is smashed, and on the wall, written in blood. The bet is settled, the child is mine now. Cassius falls to his knees as the truth hits him like a physical blow. Marcus Tate has taken Isaiah, and the only way to get their son back is for Cassius to finally finish what he started on that opera stage. How far will Cassius and Luca go to save their son, and what price will they pay when they finally find Marcus? The video arrives 30 minutes later. Cassius sits on the floor of Isaiah's empty room, phone in his shaking hands. The video is 18 seconds long, but 18 seconds is enough to break him. Isaiah is in a car seat. Marcus holds the camera, filming himself. Behind him, buildings pass by, somewhere in Brooklyn, but Cassius can't identify exactly where. The baby is crying, that thin, weak cry that premature infants make. The sound every parent learns to dread because it means distress, means the baby needs something they're not getting. If you want him back, Marcus says to the camera, you know what you have to do. Come alone, both of you, or I drop this kid off at a fire station in Jersey and you never see him again. The video ends. Coordinates follow, an address in Sunset Park. An abandoned factory that used to produce textiles before the neighborhood shifted. Luca is already moving, gathering weapons, loading magazines. His face is set in stone. The man who kissed Cassius in the alley is gone. What remains is pure rage contained in human form. It's a trap, one of his lieutenants says. He'll have 50 men there, maybe more. I don't care if he has 500. Luca chambers around. My son is in that building, that's all that matters. Cassius stands slowly, his body aches. The surgery incisions pull with every movement, but adrenaline overrides the pain, focuses him. We can't just charge in, Cassius says, we need a plan. The plan is simple, we go in, we get Isaiah, we kill anyone who tries to stop us. And if Marcus kills Isaiah the second he sees us. That stops Luca, his jaw clenches. What do you suggest? Cassius thinks, his mind is racing, pulling together pieces of information. The opera, the bet, the way Marcus operates, the man's need for spectacle, for public victory. He wants the opera, Cassius says slowly. He wants me to finish it, perfectly this time. That's what this has always been about, proving I can't, proving you made a bet on something worthless. So we give him what he wants. Exactly. Cassius pulls out his own phone, makes a call. It rings 4 times before someone answers. This is Dr. Chen, who's? It's Cassius Rain, I need a favor, a big one. 20 minutes later they have a plan. Risky, insane, but possible. Dr. Chen, the Obgyn who delivered Isaiah, arrives at the facility with a mobile medical unit. Inside the van is everything they need. Portable audio equipment, a keyboard, recording software. You're going to record the aria, Luca asks. No, I'm going to perform it, live, at the factory. Cassius sits in the van while Dr. Chen checks his vitals. Blood pressure is high, heart rate elevated, but stable. Marcus wants proof I can do it perfectly. I'll give him that proof, and while he's watching me sing, you're going to find Isaiah and get him out. He'll have guards. You'll have surprise. Cassius meets Luca's eyes. He won't expect me to actually show up and perform. He'll be so focused on me that he won't see you coming. It's a terrible plan, so many ways it can go wrong, but they're out of options and out of time. They load into multiple vehicles. Luca's people spread out, approaching the factory from different angles. Cassius and Luca take the front entrance, just the two of them, unarmed per Marcus's instructions. The factory looms against the night sky. 6 stories of broken windows and rusted metal. The kind of building that should have been demolished years ago, but still stands through bureaucratic inertia and city corruption. They enter through the main door. It's been left open, inviting. Inside, industrial decay, machinery left to rot, concrete floors cracked and sprouting weeds. And in the center of the main floor, a spotlight illuminates a space that's been cleared, a microphone on a stand, speakers set up around the perimeter. Marcus emerges from the shadows. He's holding Isaiah. The baby is awake, eyes wide, clearly uncomfortable in the arms of a stranger. There you are, Marcus says. I was starting to think you wouldn't show. Give me my son, Luca says, voice flat, dead. After the performance, Marcus nods toward the microphone. The aria, La Traviata, start to finish. Perfect. If I hear one missed note, one cracked tone, anything less than absolute perfection. He holds Isaiah out over railing. Below, a drop of 30 feet to concrete. The baby learns to fly. Cassius's heart stops. Isaiah dangles in Marcus's grip. The baby starts crying again, that thin, desperate sound. Okay, Cassius says quickly. Okay, I'll do it. Just pull him back, please. Marcus pulls Isaiah to his chest, but the message is clear. One mistake and their son dies. Cassius approaches the microphone. His legs feel disconnected from his body. His hands are numb. Every instinct screams to rush Marcus, to fight, to do anything except stand here and sing. But Isaiah's life depends on this, on him. He thinks about the opera house, the stage, the blood, the moment when his voice cracked and everything fell apart. He thinks about all the times he's performed in clubs, in theaters, in conservatory recitals. Every note he's ever sung has been leading to this moment. The backing track starts, orchestral arrangement of La Traviata, the difficult aria, the one that broke him before. Cassius opens his mouth. The first note emerges pure, clear. He closes his eyes, blocking out Marcus, blocking out the factory, blocking out everything except the music. His voice soars. The aria is about loss, about sacrifice, about choosing love even when it means destruction. The character is dying, saying goodbye, accepting fate with grace. Cassius understands that now, really understands it. He pours everything into the performance, every fear, every hope, every moment of the past months, meeting Luca, falling in love, the pregnancy, the birth, the violence, the fear. All of it flows through him and comes out as sound. The difficult passages come, he navigates them, his breath control is perfect, his pitch is exact. The notes climb higher, higher, sustained longer than should be humanly possible. In the shadows around the factory, Luca's people move, silent, professional, converging on Marcus's position. But Marcus isn't watching them, he's watching Cassius, transfixed, the way everyone is always transfixed when Cassius sings at his best. This is what Luca saw that first night at the Sapphire Room. This is what made him want to possess it, claim it, keep it close. Cassius hits the climax, the note that defines the entire aria. He holds it, holds it, his vision tunnels. The world narrows to just the sound and the need to make it perfect. Then it's over. The final note fades into silence. Nobody moves, nobody breathes. Marcus stares, something shifts in his expression. Not defeat, understanding. You actually did it, he says quietly. You actually sang it perfectly. I did, now give me my son. Marcus looks down at Isaiah. The baby has stopped crying. He's watching Cassius with those dark eyes. Recognition there, love there. You know what's funny, Marcus says. I never cared about the bet, not really. I cared about proving Luca wrong, proving that an Omega couldn't be worth what he risked for you, proving that biology matters more than choice. He takes a step toward the railing. But watching you now, hearing that, I get it. I understand why he burned everything for you, why he was willing to destroy himself to keep you. Luca appears behind Marcus, silent as death, gun pressed to the back of Marcus's head. Puts him down. Marcus freezes, laughs. Go ahead, shoot, see if I drop the baby on my way down. You drop him and I make sure your death takes hours, days. I'll keep you alive and screaming until you beg me to end it. Empty threats from a desperate man. Try me. For 5 seconds, nobody moves. Then Aunt Vera's voice echoes from somewhere above. You really want to play this game, boy. Everyone looks up. Vera stands on a catwalk, Deshawn beside her. They both hold rifles, provided by Lucas' people, aimed directly at Marcus. I'm 63 years old, Vera says. I've buried 2 husbands, raised 4 children, and survived cancer twice. You think I'm scared of some punk-ass wannabe gangster? Give my nephew his baby back, or I'll show you what us Atlanta women do to people who threaten our family. Marcus's eyes dart around. He's surrounded, outgunned, outnumbered. He looks at Isaiah, then at Cassius, then at Luca. This isn't over, he says. Yes, Luca replies, it is. Marcus hands Isaiah to Cassius. The baby settles immediately against his chest, recognizing his scent, his warmth. Cassius feels the tiny heartbeat against his own, feels the rise and fall of Isaiah's breathing. Their son, safe, alive. Marcus is taken into custody, not by the police, by Lucas' people. He'll be dealt with, disappeared, the way men like him are dealt with in this world. Cassius doesn't watch, doesn't care. He's too busy holding Isaiah, counting his fingers, checking him over for any injuries. The baby seems fine, scared but unhurt. Luca wraps his arms around both of them, buries his face in Cassius's neck. His shoulders shake. He's crying, actually crying. I thought I'd lost you both, Luca whispers. I thought. We're here, we're okay, all of us. They stand like that for a long time. The factory around them becomes a hive of activity. Lucas' people cleaning up, removing evidence, making this whole thing disappear like it never happened. But inside their small circle, there's only peace. Eventually they leave, drive back to Manhattan, to Lucas' penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park. The sun is rising, pink and gold light spreading across the city. Isaiah falls asleep in Cassius's arms, exhausted, safe. Luca makes coffee. They sit on the couch, the baby between them. Neither speaks, don't need to. Everything that matters has already been said. What happens now? Cassius finally asks. Now, Luca considers. Now we figure out how to be a family, real family, not the performance we've been doing for everyone else. Just us, honest, real. I don't know if I can forgive you, for the lies, for risking everything. I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life earning that forgiveness if I have to. Luca takes Cassius's hand, but I'm not going anywhere. Neither is Isaiah. We're in this together, for better or worse. Cassius looks at his son, at this tiny life they're responsible for, at the future they're trying to build from the wreckage of their past. Together, he agrees. And for the first time since that night at the Sapphire Room, Cassius believes it might actually be possible, because love isn't about perfection. It's about choosing each other even when everything falls apart. 6 months later, Cassius stands on a different stage. Not an opera house this time, not a club or a factory or a hospital, just a small room in Brooklyn, 20 chairs, exposed brick walls, string lights hanging from the ceiling. Isaiah sits in the front row in Aunt Vera's lap, 8 months old now, growing strong. The NICU is a distant memory. He's hit every milestone, exceeded every expectation. Doctors call him a miracle baby. Cassius calls him proof that biology doesn't define family. Luca sits beside them, suit replaced with jeans and a sweater. He looks younger somehow, less dangerous. Though Cassius knows the danger is still there, just buried deeper. You don't stop being who you are, you just learn to channel it differently. The room fills with people, not criminals this time. Friends, real ones, people from Cassius's past who stood by him, people from Luca's organization who have become something like family. Deshawn is there, living in New York now, working for one of Luca's legitimate businesses. Dr. Chen is there, some of the NICU nurses who helped save Isaiah's life. And in the back row, wearing an absurdly expensive suit and looking uncomfortable as hell, is Marcus Tate. Not the Marcus from 6 months ago. That man is gone. This version is diminished, humbled. He served 3 months in one of Luca's private facilities, not prison exactly, but not freedom either. A reckoning, a re-education. When he got out, Luca offered him a choice: leave New York forever or stay and work for him, rebuild, earn back some measure of respect. Marcus chose to stay. Cassius still doesn't trust him, probably never will, but Luca believes in second chances, in the possibility of change, and who is Cassius to argue? His entire life is proof that people can become more than what they were. The efficient calls for quiet. It's a simple ceremony, no grand opera house, no designer gowns, just 2 people standing in front of the people who matter, making promises. Luca takes Cassius's hands. I'm not good at this, at words, at expressing what I feel. Try anyway, Cassius says, smiling. 6 months ago I made a bet. I put you on a stage and asked you to prove something that should never have needed proving. I risked your life, Isaiah's life, all because I was too afraid to just admit I loved you, that I wanted you, that biology and blood didn't matter compared to what we built together. Luca's voice cracks, he clears his throat, continues. I can't promise I'll be perfect, can't promise I won't make mistakes, but I promise I'll never lie to you again, never hide things that matter, and I promise that every day for the rest of my life I'll choose you, choose our family, choose us. Cassius's turn. He's written vows, spent weeks on them, but standing here looking at Luca, the prepared words evaporate. You walked into the sapphire room and changed my life, Cassius says. You saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. You pushed me to be stronger, braver, to demand more from the world instead of just accepting what it offered. You're dangerous and complicated, and sometimes you make decisions that scare me. But you're also the man who held me when I collapsed, who fought for our son, who's building something real out of a world that tried to destroy us both. He squeezes Luca's hands. So I promise to be honest, to call you out when you're wrong, to stand beside you when you're right, to raise Isaiah together, to build a family that's stronger than blood, and to sing, maybe not opera, maybe not on grand stages, but to sing for you, for us, for the life we're creating. The officiant pronounces them married. Luca kisses Cassius, long and deep and full of promise. Isaiah claps, everyone laughs, it's perfect in its imperfection. At the reception afterward, Cassius holds his son while Luca talks to various guests. Isaiah babbles. He's starting to form sounds that might become words soon. Every day brings new developments, new surprises. He looks like you, Deshawn says, appearing beside Cassius, around the eyes. He looks like himself, Cassius replies, that's all that matters. Fair point, Deshawn takes a sip of champagne. So, married to a former mob boss, Mom would have had thoughts about this. Mom would have loved him, eventually, after giving him hell for a few months. Truth, Deshawn grins, but seriously, you happy? Cassius considers the question. 6 months ago, he was bleeding on an opera stage. 3 months ago, his son was kidnapped. 2 months ago, he was still having nightmares about all of it. But now he's married. Isaiah is healthy, they have a life. Imperfect, dangerous in places, but theirs. Yeah, Cassius says, I'm happy. Later, after most guests have left, Cassius finds himself on the rooftop. Brooklyn spreads out below, lights twinkling, the city that tried to break him and failed. Luca joins him, hands him a glass of wine. Marcus is leaving, Luca says, heading to Chicago, starting over there. You trust him not to come back? No, but I trust that he knows what happens if he does. Luca sips his wine. Besides, I'm done fighting wars over territory and reputation. I've got better things to focus on now. Like what? Like this, Luca gestures to the space between them. Like figuring out how to be a husband, a father, a better version of who I was. Cassius leans against him. They stand like that, watching the city, until Aunt Vera appears with Isaiah. This baby needs his father's, she says, handing Isaiah to Luca. I'm too old to be a full-time nanny. You love it, Cassia says. Damn right I do, but I also love sleep. She kisses both of them on the cheek. Congratulations, Barbies, you earned this. She leaves them alone on the roof. Luca, Cassius, and Isaiah, a family built from impossible circumstances, from violence and love and opera and blood and choices that shouldn't have worked but somehow did. Isaiah reaches up, touches Luca's face. The baby smiles, that gummy, full-face smile that infants give when they're purely happy. He knows, Cassius says, he knows you're his father, not because of DNA, because of everything else. You think he'll remember any of this, the opera house, the hospital? No, but we will, and someday when he's old enough we'll tell him, about how his fathers fought for him, about how love isn't simple or easy or clean, about how family is what you build, not what you're born into. Luca kisses Isaiah's forehead, then kisses Cassius. And that's exactly why it works, Luca says quietly. They stand on that roof until the stars come out, until the city below settles into its nighttime rhythm, until Isaiah falls asleep between them, safe and loved and whole. The opera is finished now, the aria sung, the bet settled, the war ended. What remains is life, messy, complicated, beautiful life. And for the first time since Luca da Vinci walked into the Sapphire Room 8 months ago, Cassius isn't afraid of what comes next. Because whatever it is, they'll face it together. As a family. The way it was always meant to be. Thank you for following Cassius and Luca's journey from that dramatic opera challenge to their hard-won happy ending. If this story moved you, inspired you, or kept you on the edge of your seat, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next powerful story. Drop a comment below sharing your thoughts. Your words might inspire someone else who needs to hear this message today. What moment hit you hardest? What would you have done in Cassius's position? Share your perspective and let's keep this conversation going. Remember, every story we share is about resilience, love, and the courage to build the life you deserve. Hit that subscribe button and let's continue this journey together. See you in the next story.